Buying a home for most people is the most important transaction of a lifetime. That's because a lot of money is involved here. But unfortunately, there's a lot of mistakes that people are making throughout the buying process. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're just super excited, or maybe you're a first-time home buyer. And so in this video, we're going to talk about some common mistakes and pitfalls to watch out for so that you don't even get into a problem where it's going to cost you a lot of money. If you're new to my channel, I'm Katrin.pfitzenreiter. I'm a real estate agent here in Sarasota, Florida. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. We're going to talk about common mistakes to avoid. The first mistake that I see people do commonly, especially first-time home buyers, is that they're not saving enough money to be able to afford the home. So typically, if you're taking out a 30-year conventional loan, you're expected to have a down payment anywhere from 5 to 20%. Though I will say that in the market I'm working in, which is Sarasota, Florida, it's very common to see 20% down. So you're going to want to talk to a real estate agent and get kind of an idea from them in terms of what a competitive offer from you would look like. But I would say for now, count on 20% down. If you take a conventional loan also, it's going to help you because you're not going to be charged PMI. So the benefit of putting down 20% if you're taking a conventional loan is actually twofold. It's going to make your offer look more attractive in the eyes of the seller, especially if your offer is competing against cash offers, and there's still quite a lot of them out there. But also, if you're putting down anything less than 20%, the lender is going to be charging you PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. And the lender will take out private mortgage insurance in order to mitigate the risk of someone not paying back the loan fully. There's certainly other loans you could be qualifying for, such as for an FHA loan or a VA loan. Your best bet, of course, is going to be talking to a mortgage broker, and they're going to provide you with much more information. Now, the second mistake I see a lot of people making is that they're not saving enough money to have an emergency fund. You may be employed right now, but what if you lose your job? You just never know. The suggestion is that you should have at least 3 months to about 6 months of your living expenses saved up in cash, so that if you lose your job or something just goes bad and you're out of commission for 3 months, that you can cover your living expenses. Now, I personally suggest that you save at least 6 months, but the 3 months is pretty much lined up right now with how long it would take for you to find a new job if you were to lose your job. I see a lot of people doing, especially those that are financing, is that they're starting to shop for homes in neighborhoods without getting a pre-approval. So they have no idea what they would actually get pre-approved for. You may be looking at homes that are going to be way out of your budget. The real con of looking at way more expensive homes and then all of a sudden bringing it back down to a level that you can afford is now you've seen what the way more expensive homes look like, and now when you're looking within your budget, it's just not going to satisfy you as much anymore because you've gone a step above that. And the same is actually true with cash buyers. They're seeing a home pop up on Realtor.com and it's $1.3 million, and they're asking me to take them there. Well, the $1.3 million home is going to look, more likely than not, way nicer. It's going to have way better upgrades than a $700,000 to $800,000 home, which is within the budget they set for themselves. So two things usually happen here. Either the buyer now is really getting pushed into the $1.3 million range, which is putting a lot of pressure on their budget, and then on the flip side, going for $1.3 million to looking at homes again in the $800,000, $900,000 range. A lot of times buyers aren't as excited anymore because, of course, a lot of these homes aren't going to look as nice. And so do yourself a favor. If you're a cash buyer or you're getting a loan, just stick with a budget that makes sense and try not to go beyond that. And for your financing, you're going to want to get a pre-approval first. So that way you have an idea of what budget you should be looking at when looking for homes, for condos. That's really going to save you time and effort, because now you're not flying blind anymore. Now, lenders typically will look at your credit score and the debt to income ratio. Now, the debt to income ratio is a tool that lenders use in order to determine if you can take on additional debt, if you're a candidate for a mortgage. Of course, they're going to be looking at your credit score as well. What you need to know about the debt to income ratio is that there's really two different ways that they can be looking at this. First off, they can look at the front end ratio, which is also known as the housing ratio. And this is where you're taking all of your housing related debt for the month and you're dividing that by your gross monthly income. If the ratio falls within 24 to 28%, then you're fine. The lower the ratio, the better it is. If you're beyond 28%, then that's going to be challenging. The lenders may just make the assumption that for now you're not a good candidate. There's also the back end ratio that they're going to be looking at, which is going to be a little bit more comprehensive. And here, beyond just taking the housing related costs, which could be property taxes, of course, rent, current mortgage, homeowners insurance, they're looking at all of the debt that you're paying out on a monthly basis. And that could include student loans, alimony, credit card loans. And here lenders typically prefer to see a percentage that is no higher than 33% or maybe 36%. So again, here also, the lower the percentage, the better. And so if you wanted to get a preliminary idea of whether or not you would actually even pass the criteria for the debt and income ratio, you can utilize online tools. I'm actually gonna link to one of them in the description section of this video. Let's actually do an example together. And for this, I've pulled up RamseySolutions.com's calculator, which think Dave Ramsey, love the guy, dislike the guy, whatever. So let's use this calculator. For mortgage, this is just an example, okay? But let's just say you have a monthly mortgage of about $2,500. You're paying off about $500 a month on student loans, which is average here in the United States. Personal loans, perhaps you have $1,000 worth of personal loans. Car loan, $250 a month is what you're paying. Credit card, maybe you're one of those people that's really good about paying off your credit card, and I'm going to leave that at 0. And the same with recurring payments. This is where we're at right now. Right now, when it comes to monthly debt payments, we're at $4,250. Your monthly gross income is going to be $10,000 because you make $120,000 a year gross. That's before taxes and any other deductibles. Your debt to income ratio is actually 43%. So that's not good. It's more likely than not you're not going to get a mortgage for another home. And so what do? Well, there's a few things that you can do. You can get a second job. You can get a promotion in your job. You can pay off some of those loans. Maybe when it comes to the mortgage, you just sell your house. You repurchase once you have the cash in hand and you've gotten rid of your current loan. So there's a lot of different ways to play it, but I think you should definitely use the debt to income ratio if you're somebody that's thinking about purchasing a home and you're going to be taking out a mortgage. Next one is not considering additional costs that you can incur with home ownership. The lender is going to do a good job at anticipating what costs you're going to have, but there's just so much more involved in maintaining a home, especially if you're somebody that's looking to purchase a single family home, such as who's going to be mowing the lawn. Maybe you're somebody who's going to be able to do it, but if you're working most of the time, or perhaps you're a bit older, you have back problems, are you really going to want to mow the lawn? If you're in an HOA community, it could be that it's maintenance free and perhaps you don't have to worry about mowing the lawn. But there's gardening, the pool, if you have a pool, is going to take care of that. Exterminator, alarm service, protecting your home from termites. What I've actually done here is I've created a living cost consideration worksheet, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys as well in the description section of this video. It's an Excel spreadsheet that you can tap into, you can modify it for your own usages. It probably captures about 90% of the expenses that you need to think about when you're purchasing a single family home, because the last thing I want you to do is to be surprised with some of these costs. So this sheet basically has 4 major sections, and you can manipulate these sections just to have it meet your own scenario. Section 1 is owning a single family home and the costs involved, including the sales price, real estate taxes, and so forth. Then section 2 is about the home maintenance of the house or the home. And here you're going to want to consider some major high ticket items, and then living expenses. And then section 4 is about any additional costs you will need to pay if you do, such as credit card or maybe student loans. What you're going to want to do is take this template and really get local information based on where you're looking to purchase, based on what type of home you're looking to purchase, and try to get this as precise as possible, because the last thing you're going to want to do is get to a point where you purchased a home, but you didn't really count on all these other things. Do you want to spend your life just cooped inside of your house and never go out to a restaurant again because now all of a sudden you can't afford it because you didn't put it into your budget sheet? Another mistake that I see a lot of buyers do is not really thinking about the future resale value of the house. Now, if you're somebody that is purchasing a forever home and you found your dream house and you find yourself being very happy in it, well, this is probably not going to be applicable to you. But if you're somebody that may be reselling the home, then I would definitely look at the potential resale value. If you're in a good school system, some of you don't care about school system because maybe you don't have kids, or maybe your kids are already in college. But if you find two homes that you really like and one of them is in a good school system, the other one is not, you're probably going to be better off purchasing the home that's in a good school system, because once you get to a point where you're reselling, it's going to have much more mass appeal. Also, you're going to want to stay away from homes if you can that are in very noisy areas, that are really close to the highway, where there's just a lot of traffic. So there's homes that you want to stay away from, or that are really good to purchase. And I actually just recently released a video that talked about the top 10 homes to never buy. And I'm going to link to that specific video towards the end of this video so you can watch it. The home inspection, a lot of you do not really think that you need a home inspection. Maybe because you're just so emotionally involved in purchasing this home. You're a cash buyer, you just want to get it done really quickly. Maybe you're somebody that's looking to make a lot of upgrades or updates. But even then, I cannot stress enough how important it is to get a home inspection, especially if you're already going to be purchasing a home that on average is now costing you, what, $400,000 to $500,000, when the inspection itself is just $1,000. In the grand scheme of it, you're much better off knowing what the potential repair work is going to cost you if you move ahead with the purchase. Also, depending on what contract you're under, it could give you a way out. For all of you guys that tuned in, thank you so much for watching. You can do me a favor, actually, it's going to help this video out, and that is, if you like this video, also, if you enjoy real estate just as much as I do, subscribe to this channel for more real estate related videos. And again, thank you so much. I wish you the best day. Take care.